And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another broadcast here of the World Team League WTL 2024 Summer Code S Round 4, day number 2. I'm, of course, Starlight VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the amazing people in the chat. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Hope you all enjoyed Master Swan Open. Shout out to Kuro in the chat, who was casting and covering Master Swan Open only a couple of hours ago, less than an hour ago even, covering the finals and the rest of the event. Meanwhile, we are here with WTL, with Team Liquid versus Starlight Twinkle to kick things off. Let's go. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Oh my god, I almost forgot. Sorry, as I was trying to quickly set things up for the broadcast. Panic. Bam, there we go. Just make sure I have the correct background going. We have our lineups. We have Elazer. We have Elazer coming up first for Team Liquid. And again, we're up against Starlight Twinkle. Quickly just going over the lineups here, going over the matches that we do have ahead of us. It is going to be Elazer versus ReWhite, Clem versus Krystianer, and Cure versus Wayne. Oh boy. So I do appreciate that we don't really have any mirror matchups, at least to kick things off. And Team Liquid, they're going to be coming in as a heavy favorite, but Starlight Twinkle have not been doing too poorly themselves. It's still early on in the event. I want to believe that ReWhite can bounce back for himself, for his team. Let's go. It's going to be ReWhite versus Elazer up first. Game 1 on Ghost River. Now, if you're in the chat, predictions will be opening up, so you can place your bets on who you think is going to take the series. Who you believe. Speaking of predictions, you can also check out the predictions in our... I don't think that's correct. I believe our predictions over on Discord are being pulled together. They're being aggregated as we speak, so we'll get there when it comes to those predictions. For those that are curious, we do hold predictions in our Discord server for all of the members that want to take part, and we do kind of collect those, aggregate those, and keep track and ranking over the course of the season to see who is the best at predicting and who is the worst as well. Este Yaku. Ay, ay, ay. So you can definitely check that out as well. For now, though, again, we're settling into our first best of 2. When it comes to the format of WTL, it is a best of 7, but it is constructed by multiple best of 2s within it. It is not a best of 3, and it is loser's pick as well. So because of that, upsets are actually a little bit more common in WTL because there are no vetoes. There are no vetoes. You can pick whatever map you want. You of course have time to prepare ahead of time as well. So I'm sure both Elazer and ReWhite have been preparing a follow-up map too, just in case they lose game 1 with a specialized build. And here we go. We're diving in. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Elazer for Team Liquid. And in the top right, we have ReWhite for Starlight Twinkle. Here we go. As we settle into this, we settle into our games. Hope everyone has been enjoying themselves. And again, shout out to, I see Milo in the chat, who's competing in today's MSO. Bienvenidos. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Good to see you here. As ReWhite is going to be opening up with a standard opener. Gate expand here on the low ground. We're loading into Ghost River. Ghost River, of course, has a very short rush distance by ground. With that, you can be hyper aggressive. You can be very in the face of your opponent as well. This goes both ways, so we have seen a lot of aggressive all-ins from the side of Zerg players. We've also seen a lot of aggressive plays from the side of Protoss as well. Twilight Council openers are not unheard of on Ghost River. But here comes a probe scout. Here comes our initial probe from ReWhite's coming in towards the main base. Is going to get a full scout, confirming the hatch first. Again, as to be expected, like nothing too crazy here. It's going to be hatch gas pull out of Elazer, standard opener. Not going for any early gases yet. When I spoke about aggression from the side of the Zerg player, it's typically off of 2 bases or even 3 bases. I'm talking like 2 base saturation or just under 3 base saturation. You go for a fast Roach Warren, maybe you go for a fast Lair as well. You can go for like a Drop Lord all in, walk the Queens across the map, commit with Roaches. There's a lot available here, and my eyes are definitely on Elazer. Meanwhile, from the side of ReWhite, again, gate expand, Cybercore has been thrown down, standard build from our Protoss player, and we have our probe at least keeping tabs here on Elazer, making sure that everything's on the up and up, making sure that Elazer doesn't take any earlier gases. So ReWhite just being safe, just being secure. Here we go. I like how ReWhite has a different angle every game. Yeah, it is clearly a phone webcam. It looks like we're spying on ReWhite. Right, like it looks like we're peering in from like behind his monitor, you know, like from like the room over or something. Like we've like hidden the cam inside ReWhite's room. I feel perverted. Aye. We're all voyeurs here, just peeping on ReWhite. And we're trying to get a glimpse here of what he's up to, and now we have our answer. There's reason why we're being sneaky. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of ReWhite. As a reminder, in the opener to this game, we mentioned how Twilight Council openers are not unheard of on Ghost River because of the short rush distance by ground. This could be Glaive Adepts, or this could be a Dark Shrine opener. Depending on the gases, if we pull out a gas, it's most likely going to be 4-gate Glaives. If we stay in, then most likely to be Dark Shrine instead. We haven't actually seen the main base yet, but we just know of the aggressive tech. And speaking of, we have pulled out. You can see they're 2 and 2, so it's going to be 4-gate Glaives out of ReWhite. Meanwhile, Elazer still has to piece it together. Catching up in the chat. Thank you for streaming this. You're welcome. Happy, you're welcome. Again, we do stream this every single week. Always. We are live here on a daily basis. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Hope you'll enjoy yourselves. Double Adept threatens a shade towards the main base. Glaives are on the way. Now, I believe this is the macro Glaive Adept variation. What I mean by that, yes, we have 4 gates. That is true, but I believe there's no robo. I may have missed it, I may have like looked away at the wrong moment, but I believe there is no robo in the main, so there is no prism here with this either. This means that the money that we would have spent on a warp prism or on a robo is being spent elsewhere on a 3rd base. So this is a macro 4-gate Glaive Adept build. There's that probe. This is for the expansion. Meanwhile, Lings, they do dive in. They don't quite get the probe. Quick moves out of ReWhite. It does save it. 3rd base goes down. So this is something not specific to this map, but you know, it helps out that we're on Ghost River. Because we don't have a warp prism, obviously we can't reinforce, we're not going to be committing, but the rush distance by ground is short enough where it doesn't matter, right? It's short enough where you can afford to still be, or your push is still going to be quite aggressive nonetheless, even without a warp prism, even without that robo. So ReWhite, he's just settling in. We do see the Elazer. He has yet to scout the main base. We do have a later Roach Warren. This is a 420 Roach Warren timing. Nice. So this is a little bit later. This tells me that we only have Lings and Queens to defend against the initial wave. But as a reminder, this is going to be a little bit lessened because of the Nexuses on the way, because it is a more macro variant. Here come the Adepts. There shouldn't really be any reinforcements with this. So we'll see if Elazer can keep up. At the same time, Elazer does confirm the 3rd. Adepts, they reveal themselves at the Queens, at the 3rd base. We shaded Lings engaged, but the Lings are not going to surround. So far, a decent trade here from ReWhite shaves off a lot of those Lings. And will head towards that mineral line. So far, the Queens, they keep up, they force us back. Ooh, we're down to 4 Adepts. And we get surrounded. Oh, this shade was less than ideal. We get surrounded, we get completely cleaned up. Good defense out of Elazer, able to shut this all down. Again, I assume that the shade would have been into the mineral line to make use of the terrain, but that is not the case, and Elazer doesn't take any economic damage. The execution here from ReWhite was a little bit lacking, and with that, he bleeds out all of his Adepts. Now, what is scary is that now we're behind. To go for a Glaive Adept build like this, we need to get some economic damage done, because we delay Blink for this, we delay the Forge, we delay upgrades, we delay the Robo, we delayed so much in favor of Glaives, and it did not pay off. So Elazer is in a much better position. Sure, his drone count is lower, but that is soon about to change as Elazer is focusing on resaturating his bases. Roach Warren is done, Lair is on the way, Evo Chamber for upgrades. Elazer is looking comfortable back at home. And ReWhite can't really pressure him. I mean, what can he pressure him with? Like vanilla Stalkers? He's just going to lose everything. So ReWhite is stuck at home. Elazer can drone as much as he wants. Behind this, Elazer is also getting a 4th base, working on the rest of his tech. We can see ReWhite working towards a Blink and +1. I believe a Robo was thrown down for ReWhite, so now we can start working towards Immortals, or maybe just a Warp Prism to reinforce, depending on how he wants to work this out. I do like this from ReWhite. That is a fast 4th. That 4th base is on par with the 4th base of Elazer, which is impressive. It is a little bit later, but still quite fast. So we'll see if ReWhite can hold on to it. I mean, he's stuck at home anyway, so he shouldn't be moving out, so he should be in position. Should be in position to defend. Speaking of, you can see the army rotate over, is right there next to that 4th. So now we're just chilling, we're focusing on our economy. Both players, I mean. Both Elazer and ReWhite, we're just focusing on our economies, focusing on taking. There's that Robo that we spoke about. Prism is on the way. Now, the next kind of big sign here, I was going to say if we go up to 8 gateways and cut gateway production, But with the 4th base and with additional gases, ReWhite is going for a longer game. So really what I'm waiting for is further tech. I'm waiting for a Bay for Colossus production. I'm waiting for a Templar Archives for Storm. Maybe even, you know, a Stargate and a Fleet Beacon. I'm waiting for something more here other than just purely Blink Stalker, as Elazer's outscaling him. Elazer's working on Ling Hydra. The Hydra Den is done, Hydra upgrades are on the way. Ling Hydra is going to be ideal against Blink Stalkers. And sure, ReWhite's moving out now, but again, like, this isn't the most committed push here. We'll see if he can get some damage done. ReWhite pushing onto creep. At the same time, Ling run by here towards the 4th base. There is side defense. Ooh, ReWhite warping in the face of Elazer here with those Glaive Adepts. Overcharge is popped. ReWhite will hold back at home. Solid defense here from our Protoss player. Lings, they do head towards the 3rd base instead. Here we go, the Ling Hydra collapsing on the army. We pick off the Adepts. Stalkers do blink away. Ooh, that's a little lost mine time here at the 3rd. And we're committing. We're going for another big warp in. Oh my god. Okay, ReWhite. He wants to keep this going, but again, this is a bit of a later push. Let's have a couple of extra warpins behind this. I mean, there are no Lings, 14 Lings in production. We're picking off some Hydras. These are some good pickoffs here from ReWhite, some efficient pickoffs, I should say. Shaving off those Hydras when we stutter step forward. We collapse here, we take down the Prism. Prism goes down and we shut down the main army. And now ReWhite's falling further behind. Baneling Runby is coming in. The reason why I say this, if you remember earlier, as the Banelings are headed for the 3rd, we do react. Whew. We do pull away in time. We don't take any losses. But if you remember, it was before the push where I was talking about how I was waiting for a Bay or a Templar Archives or some kind of splash damage, some kind of further tech. We didn't have it. We committed. We doubled down on a mass Blink Stalker army. The push failed, and now ReWhite, he's being outscaled. Like, he has no next step here. We have a Bay that's on the way that's going to be for Colossus, but now Elazer's in control. Now Elazer's in control. Banelings are headed for the mineral lines once again. Hydra's pushing in. The Hydras, they're a little bit exposed, though. We do bust in. Workers are going to be saved. More Banelings, they do arrive. They crash into the mineral line. 9, 10, 11. Did I say 11? 19, 20 probes go down. We break the 3rd base. ReWhite, he had committed so hard here to his initial Glaive Adept, to the follow-up Blink Stalker, and we just did not do enough damage. Elazer's on 80 workers. His economy is perfectly fine. It's ideal right now for the Zerg player. And ReWhite, he's being broken. He just finished up his Robotics Bay. That's going to be for, again, Colossus, but he doesn't have the economy to sustain himself anymore. Not anymore. You see ReWhite here towards the north with a War Prism, looking to try to dip into the main or into the natural. Try to harass here with the depths or charge. Let's charge is done, by the way. There's that first Colossus on the way. We cannot afford a second Robo and a second Colossus, or double Colossus production, I should say. So things are looking a little bit bleak here for ReWhite. We need to make some magic happen. If these Adepts, if they can kill a mineral line, if they can pop off and get like 10 drone kills or something, then maybe we can claw our way back in, but we're getting some damage. To be fair, it's happening. We are getting a couple of worker kills here and there. Four drones. That's okay. It's not great. we do need more. We do need more. And meanwhile, Elazer, he has already remaxed, rocking up once again with his Ling Hydra, Ling Bane Hydra. The Colossus has arrived, though. We have to respect that. A lot of swipes going off here on the Hydras. But Elazer, he has no fear. He stutter steps forward, dives on top of the army, and he's just bullying ReWhite back. I mean, this Colossus is trading well, but we need more than a good trade for the Colossus. As this is not enough. The Colossus is exposed, no! And the Colossus does go down. A big pickup. And now Elazer, he has broken the 3rd base for a second time. Banelings, they roll into the 4th. Mineral line goes down. 14, 24 probes go down. And with that, the economy has been crippled. GG gets called. Elazer will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. A solid game. Elazer looks upset. Elazer doesn't just look serious. He looks angry. Like maybe even a proper 3-base all-in. Winding it back a little bit with what ReWhite did in game number 1, I was a little bit perplexed. It was very middle of the road. So winding to go over what just happened, ReWhite, his initial glaive adept was fine, as in the build itself, not the execution. He lost all the adepts. But the follow-up to go for a very committed Blinkstalker push, it was a little bit weird because we still took a fourth. If you remember, we took a fourth base, we took extra gases, and we stayed on a lower gateway count. I want to say we were on like 6 gateways at the time. When usually, if you want to double down like that, if you want to be in the face with Mass Blinkstalker, stay on 3 bases, throw down extra gateways, get it to 8 gates, and go for a 3 base all in, right? Like, just commit. But we didn't, which is why it was a little bit weird, and it had a little bit less bite to it as well. As a result, Elazer got away with taking into Ling Hydra. Elazer shut it down. GG, well played. And now we're getting into our next game. In the top left, we have Elazer for Team Liquid. And in the bottom right, we have a pause. Hope everything's okay. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Yes, we'll get there eventually. For those on Goldenera. Oh, and here we go. We're diving back in. And in the bottom right, we have... Oh, Elazer. Looks like we redid the lobby. And in the top left, ReWhite. Let's go. Loading into Goldenera. So mainly my eyes are on ReWhite here, especially after game 1 where he showed us that he is willing to mix it up and open up Twilight Council into glaives. It was a very unique and very specific kind of glaive adept build in game 1, but again shows us that ReWhite can and will be aggressive. So I'll keep an eye on his tech to see if he goes for another Twilight Council again. But now, shout out to the sponsors, Doyu, Bio, Autofall, and SC Boy. Big shout out to the sponsors. Without them, this event would not be happening, and StarCraft would be worse off. So big shout out to SC Boy and their sponsors. Much love. Much love, bye. For now, it's going to be a Hatch Gas Pool Opener from Elazer, standard build from our Zerg player. He is forced to take the unnatural natural. You can see it there. The 3rd base location has been taken instead, as ReWhite did pro block. But at this point, I mean, this has been happening for years now, and I'm sure Elazer is quite comfortable, quite practiced in this situation. There was a time where this would mean, oh, okay, glaives, right? So you can try to punish this base setup. Nowadays, that's not the case. You can also try abuse this with something like oracles as well, as your queens can have a harder time rotating between bases. But it's just a way to make the Zerg player uncomfortable in the early game, more than anything. We are going to be settling into Goldenera. Again, some of the features of Goldenera is the gold base. There's a gold towards the bottom left-hand corner of the map. There's a zone Naga towards the corners of the map as well. But the biggest feature here and the biggest factor, I think, is going to be the 3rd base location. So this 3rd base is very secure. The ramp coming to the 3rd is insanely narrow. It's very, very narrow, so it's so difficult to actually commit to all-ins up that ramp. Likewise, the 3rd base is actually very close to the natural as well, so it's actually quite easy to reinforce and to position yourself as well. Your 3-base setup is quite heavily fortified on a map like Goldenera. Because of that, I'm curious, you know, how ReWhite wants to approach this. We do have a Stargate opener out of our Protoss player, looking to be oracles, looking to be a standard game here into a 3rd. I was talking about aggression from ReWhite, but here we're seeing something very different. Meanwhile, the first adept gets across the map, gets into the mineral line. Oh, doesn't quite get the drone up. Oh, we do force out 2 spores, but quick moves out of Elazer does save both drones. Very nicely done. Back at home, ReWhite is opening up Oracle, not Void Ray. The Oracle's to scout, to harass, to get some scouting information, to pick up some drones, and to have a map presence as well. It also allows us to safely expand and take a 3rd base. So this is just a very standard macro build out of the Protoss player. This should lead into a 2nd and a 3rd Oracle as well. Into a 3rd base. Oracle is out, Probe likewise getting in position to expand. Interesting. ReWhite cutting some corners here. I don't know if you noticed, ReWhite, he has a lot of gas in his bank. He delayed his 2nd Oracle to make that 3rd base that much faster even. Very greedy, actually. This is almost like a Hearthstone build. Hearthstone, he's also got some greedier openers that he goes for in PvZ. But here we go, the Oracle dips in. Oh, we get surrounded! A big overstep there from ReWhite. Oracle goes down. We get 3 drones before an Oracle. That is not worth it for the Protoss. Ay, ay, ay. Bearing in mind as well that the second Oracle was delayed quite heavily, so Elazer is that much more secure. Finally, here comes the second Oracle. We have a third Oracle on the horizon. The plus side is, yes, ReWhite does have a very fast third, much faster than normal. As usually, you make your second Oracle, and you set up some SimCity, and you warp in an extra Adept, and then you take the third. So really greedy stuff here out of ReWhite. But he has to babysit these Oracles. We cannot throw them away. Like, they have just so much value here, not just when it comes to scouting, but also picking off lings, threatening drones, getting eyes on them kind of all in. Meanwhile, here's our follow-up. Elazer going straight into that lair. Ooh, Overlord speed on the way. I'm curious, this was a slightly earlier Roach Warren. We'll keep an eye on the drone count here. Elazer, he's on 60 workers, and we're making lings. Okay, we're squeezing out a couple of extra drones. I was curious if we were going to go for like a Queen Roach all-in with Dropper Lords. But now Adepts have arrived. We shave off some of the lings. There's the Dropper Lords that we spoke about. So we did cut workers at 60. It's going to be a 3-base all-in, or just under a 3-base all-in from Elazer. He's going for a very committed Roach and Queen drop. Roach push with the Queen drop to support. Lings, they shut down the Adepts. And ReWhite, he's in a bit of trouble. What do we have at the third base to defend? Here comes the all-in. The Oracles are going to be able to get some drones back at home, which is nice. But again, show us the third base. Do we have any shield batteries? I think we have one. We have one shield battery done. We have 2 more on the way. Now ReWhite is aware of what's going on. The Oracle, we got the snipe. Very nice pick off there from Elazer. Snipes the Oracle. We're down to 1. You can see in a moment of desperation, ReWhite throwing down a wall of side defense, cannons, shield batteries, anything you can throw down. It's all at the third, and even some at the natural. Weeds are getting low. So far, transfused on point. The wall's on a wall. Lings, they flood into the main. Overcharges pop, but it's going to go down to the Ravagers. It is biled, and there's barely a ground army. We're down to 3 Stalkers. That's not going to be enough. We have 3 Stalkers in the main base. We have another Oracle coming out, just trying to produce whatever we can. But it looks like Elazer is snowballing out of control. Files into the mineral line. 13 probes go down. This third base is going to crumble. ReWhite just doesn't have enough. Again, he cut too many corners early on. Lost his Oracles. GG gets called, and Elazer takes game number 2 and the series 2-0. GG, well played. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Elazer for a pretty solid performance in this first best of 2. Game 1 was a little bit more back and forth, but yeah, ReWhite, he just had some unfortunate engagements there when he lost all of his Adepts early on, and we lost, of course, his Stalker army as well. Some rough execution there from ReWhite. Here in game number 2 was a little more decisive in favor of Elazer. ReWhite took him a little bit too long to scout and recognize what was going on. Likewise, he was also being greedy, cutting corners. He only had, what was it, 6 Stalkers? He had 3 Stalkers at his third and 3 Stalkers in the main. Like, we barely had anything to defend. And again, shorter rush distance by ground on Goldrara. GG. GG, well played. A strong start for Team Liquid. A very strong start. And now we're getting into game number 2, into series number 2. Clem versus Krystianer. Let's go. It's going to be a Terran versus Protoss. Clem versus Krystianer, and this is going to be an interesting one. I'm curious where the predictions lie here. Okay, we have, this is from our Discord server, by the way, 75% in favor of 2-0 for Clem, 25% in favor of the 1-1 score. Now, I'll be honest, I'm one of the people that went for the 1-1 score. Krystianer's been impressing me. I've been very impressed by Krystianer over the past 6 months. Like, he's been improving over the past couple of years, sure, but over the past 6 months, Krystianer, he's been getting some really surprising results. For those that maybe don't watch WTL, Krystianer, he was able to bring down Showtime and Raynor in the first week, which was crazy, by the way. Like, Krystianer, he was popping up. Likewise, Krystianer, Had a little bit less success last week. He went up against Mario of all players, but Krystianer, he's been taking down Nightmare on a regular basis. Hopefully we have Clem and Krystianer. Hopefully there is no player missing or anything like that. But we're going to be going on a short break here, and when we return, we will have, I'm sure, Clem versus Krystianer. If there is a player missing, and if there are some delays like that going on, then we will play Cure versus Wayne first. We will kind of like skip Clem versus Krystianer. We'll cast Cure versus Wayne first, and then we'll give Clem and Krystianer a little bit more time. That will give them more time to arrive and to play out their series if we're missing someone. So until then, we have our two competitors here, and oh my god, we're just diving right into game one, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Amphion, we have Clem for Team Liquid. And in the bottom left, we have Krystianer for Starlight Twinkle. Whew. Let's go. And if you're in the chat, predictions, they should be open, so you can place your bets on who you believe is going to be taking this series, whether it goes 2-0 in either direction or a 1-1 tied score. Up to you. Up to you to decide. But good luck, Papi, good luck. As we are settling in. So I'm just setting things up, making sure that everything's looking good. We're okay, we're okay. Whew. From here, oh, you can see Clem. Oh, he just woke up. He's sipping on some coffee. It's all good. Clem, for those that are curious what we were memeing about, is that Clem, he is known for being on a bit of a degen schedule. He does typically play in events like ESL Open Cup Americas and these other more foreign-based weeklies that do kind of take place at 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, Clem is usually one to stay up and compete in those events. But thankfully, he is, you know, willing to wake up early here in the morning and compete in WTL. I do appreciate it. What time is it in France? France time. It's 2:38 p.m. right now, so bright and early here for Clem. Love to see it. Clem isn't the only one. It's Clem and Max Pax, for those that are curious. Clem and Max, they're the degens. Shaking my head. Shaking my head. Meanwhile, we're just settling into our games. It is going to be a double gas opener. Okay, interesting. Double gas opener out of Clem. What this means is a faster factory. It means a delayed command center, as you can see here. Ooh, the Reaper will miss the probe. Ooh, Krystianer, he sucked it in. Probe was able to just barely hug the wall and did escape the eyes of that Reaper. Back at home, gate expanded. Gate Cybercore expand here from Krystianer. Starlight Council's on the way. Reaper does something in the mineral line. So far, good control. We do pull back our probes. We have to minimize our losses. No, we come back too soon. One probe goes down. A little bit rough there from Krystianer. Bleeding out one probe. Going to bleed out a second probe as well. Yeah, 2 probes fall. The Reaper should be shut down. But that was some pretty nice damage from Clem to be able to get 2 workers, get a full scout, and of course, be shut down, but did get eyes on the Twilight Council. So Clem is fully aware of the tech of choice from Krystianer. Behind this, we're getting into our CC on the high ground. It's on the high ground just to make sure it isn't delayed, just to make sure it isn't harassed here by the Protoss. Bit of a safer response, and a big shout out to Air Orange in the chat. Oh my god, Bappy, thank you so much for the support. Subscribing 22 months in a row, subscribing for the 30th month. That's a lot of months. That's almost 3 years of support. Thank you so much, Air Orange. Ga, Bappy, ga. One of our longest supporters in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Much love. Much love. As back at home, we just see Clem getting ready for his own drop play. We have a medevac in production as we speak. Cyclone as well. We only have the one Widow Mine, so I imagine we're going for not the most committed mine drop, but we can move out with the Marines, we can move out with the Cyclone. There it is, we have the Marines and the medevac moving through the center of the map. We'll see if Krystianer can minimize his losses. Now, ideally, you want the Widow Mine shot to actually go off not on the mineral line, but you want it to go off on the Stalker, and then the Marines can take care of the rest. Here we go. We are going in. Widowmine is throwing down to zone away the Stalkers. Marines, they go straight for the mineral line. And how many workers can we target down? We get 1, we get 2. We get 2. We're going to get a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th probe as well. Mine shot goes off, takes down an Adept. And the cycling from the right-hand side. Oh, we are pulling Krystianer apart. He's out of position. Ay, ay, ay. 7 workers go down. We get 1 extra lock-on here towards the end. Clem will escape with the Cyclones. We bust back into the main. We get an 8th probe. Again, Krystianer was just blindsided by at least a Cyclone. With that, Clem has done well for himself. What did Clem lose? He kept the medevac alive, he kept the Cyclone alive, he lost the Windmine, he lost a handful of Marines for 8 workers. Well worth it. We also got a full scout. So Clem is fully aware of how many gateways there are. Prism is on the way. It's going to be 4 gate blink from Krystianer. I believe it's 4. It could be 3. Yeah, 4 gate blink. So it's 4 gate blink from our Protoss player, which is very aggressive, but Clem saw everything. He saw all the gateways. He's fully aware. And he's getting ready. We have tanks on the way back at home. We have bunkers on the way back at home as well. Clem is preparing for the aggression of Krystianer. Oh, medevac barely escapes. And we should have bunker set up. We haven't quite seen the defensive setup from Clem yet, but we should have at least a bunker in the natural. There we go. We have a bunker in the natural. We have our tank set up as well. The main base, we can be a little bit more lax just because it's harder to blink into the main. Actually, I don't think we can blink into the main. We have to ferry in with the War Prism. So 4 gate blink is that much less effective on a map like Amphion as well. And here we go. We are reinforcing. Krystianer, he's committed. We've got to push in. And we'll see how quick Clem is to pull the boys and repair. We go for the tank. Oh, bit of a misclick. Tank goes down. We got a volley up on the depot by accident. The bunker will fall as well. But it's costing us a lot here. With the bunker, we got 1 tank, but the army is forced back, and we need more damage. You can see Krystianer reinforcing. Like, this is not enough. Tank volley going up. We go for another dive, and tank goes down, but we have to deal with all these auto turrets, deal with the army as well. We bleed out almost every single stalker. GG gets called as Krystianer loses everything, and Clem takes game number 1. GG, well played. A solid game there from Clem. Like, oh, they wouldn't expect it 2 games in a row, but I'm hoping for something a little bit different. And here we go in the bottom right-hand corner of Ocean World. We have Clem for Team Liquid. And in the top left, we have Krystianer for Starlight Twinkle. Here we go. Light is drinking reality. Ah, the Terran player. He's inside me. Here we go. Settling into our game. As a reminder, in the first game, Clem did go for a double gas opener, went double gas into a factory. Here on Oceanborn, I'm expecting the same. I'm not too sure if this is the best map to go for something more economic like a rack expand, but we'll keep an eye on Clem. As there it is, second gas has been taken, so Clem once again is going for a faster factory into a delayed command center. Just a safer build, does allow him to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more tech heavy early on. To work towards Reaper Hellion, to work towards a mine drop, a cyclone drop as well. Clem has possibilities. He has options. Krystianer comes in with a probe scout, he confirms the second gas, so now he knows that, of course, Clem is going for something more tech heavy. Probe is locked in, forces the recall. The probe will safely make it back home. Does make it back. Ooh, okay. Krystianer going for a gate expand into a delayed cyber core. I see you. Bit of a greedier opener here out of Krystianer. Likewise, he doesn't wall off the Reaper Cliff either. Go for SimCity, a little bit more secure SimCity in the main instead. The reasoning for this is, at times, if you do wall off the Reaper Cliff, it does expose your tech and it exposes your pylons. It allows the Terran opponent to trade a little bit better and pick you apart or just pick off some high-tech structures. Can be frustrating to deal with. As once again, that is a Twilight Council opener out of Krystianer, not a Stargate. Okay, now this should be a blink-based build, but it doesn't have to be 4-gate blink. It could be 2-gate blink into a third, it can be 3-gate blink from map control into a third base, or we could just double down and go 4 gateways again. True. Could happen. Meanwhile, ooh, we're committing to Reaper Hellion. We have the reactor on the racks. We are pumping out Reapers. We're pumping out Hellions as well. A very aggressive start here for Clem. So the way this works is with the massive amount of Reapers and Hellions that Clem is about to have, the goal here is to get some economic damage. Is to bust into a mineral line, to run past the Adept, run past the Stalker, go for probe kills instead. And if Krystianer fumbles the ball in the defense, this can wreak havoc. This can get out of control and deal even game-ending damage at times. It shouldn't, but it can. Here we go. Clem is moving out. Meanwhile, Krystianer is setting up a full wall. Let's go. That will shut down the Hellion harass. The Reapers can still dip into the main, but the Hellion's going to have a hard time getting into any kind of mineral line whatsoever. As I believe that is a full wall. Here we go. The 4 Reapers, they head into the main base. They drag the army towards that main. Good control so far. Shield battery is done. 1 probe goes down. But it looks like we do get within range of those Reapers and we pick off 2. 2 Reapers for 1 Stalker, but we get another probe. And Krystianer should clean this up. Not before losing another probe. And a 4th probe will not go down. And with that, that's not a bad defense. It was, what, 4 Reapers for 3 probes? I would say a better trade for the Protoss player. So very nice defense here out of Krystianer to be able to wall off his natural, to be able to defend against the Adepts, to be able to keep up with Clem. Whew. We're good. Krystianer from here can now take a 3rd base. Blink is almost done. Clem following this up with a Cyclone job. It's going to be a Cyclone and 4 Marines. And ideally, this heads into the main. We could try and disrupt the 3rd base timing and force a cancel. Ooh, Clem following this up, though, with Banshees. Okay, the drop has arrived. We're going for the pylon. Not a bad pick-off here to kick things off. Clem gets a pylon, backs off. Behind this is looking like a 2-base all-in. We've seen a lot of tank Banshee builds in TVP over the past couple of months. It's been very popular, very trendy here by players like Clem, players like Bjorn, Maru. They've all been embracing it. Some have been pulling the boys with this. Others, they just push with their tanks to the 3rd, and then they harass with the Banshees. Others bring it all together. There are different ways to go about this. As Clem is still building up. We have the medevac drop here outside of the main. Banshee is spotted by Krystianer as it heads towards the natural. And Clem, he's just massing up his tank army, getting ready for his push. Not moving out yet. Ideally, we want to push out with 2 to 3 tanks. Ooh, as Krystianer does slip into the main, we do get a couple of SCVs. Not bad. 3 SCVs go down, and Krystianer does escape. Doesn't lose anything. Meanwhile, there's no detection! No! The Banshee going ham in the main. 5 probes go down, and here comes the main push. Right for the 3rd. And Krystianer, he doesn't slow it down, losing even more workers here at the 3rd base. These Banshees, they're more than paying for themselves. They're dealing a crippling amount of damage. And Krystianer, he did not spot the main move out. Now engaging with these tanks, but they're getting within range. There's no shield battery, there's no overcharge at the 3rd. Ay, ay, ay. These tanks are looking a little bit exposed, though. There's not that much support. Stalkers are being forced back. Yeah, the Immortal has arrived. With the help of the Immortal, we should be able to break out. It's not going to be a clean trade, though. The drop comes into support. And the tank holds. No shot. The tank does not go down. So many Stalkers go down. They go down instead. And Clem, he's snowballing out of control. He's breaking through the main army. GG gets called. And Clem, he will take it 2-0. GG. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, and there's a reason why these Banshee builds have been so popular as of late. It can be so difficult to scout what's going on, to have observers out in time, to have them in position as well, just because it's so slow. They take so long to rotate between the bases. And that was the beginning of the end. With the Banshee harassing across the map, it wasn't just dealing a lot of damage, but it forced a big reaction out of Krystianer. He had to turn everything back around. He raced back home, which allowed Clem to move out. And Clem didn't even have a lot. He had 2 tanks and he had a handful of Marines. If Krystianer was able to focus on his main army out on the map, he could slow it down, he could chip away at the Marines, force the siege, blink back. There's a lot you can do to slow down the Terran army, but Krystianer was out of position. He wasn't able to engage until it was too late, until it was already at his front door. And with that, Clem did break that third. GG. GG, well played. A solid execution there out of Clem, and Krystianer unfortunately unable to keep up. And with that, that is Team Liquid taking the series. GG, well played. Congratulations, Team Liquid. They will take the series, but we will still play out that final best of 2. Cure versus Wayne is coming up next. You may be thinking, well, I mean, it's a best of 7. Series is already over. I mean, kind of. There's still other things on the line here. Individual rankings is kept track of, so ELOs will rise and fall. WTL points, they get distributed here to players depending on their wins as well, so wins do matter. Likewise, standings and map score is important as well in the group stage. So there is still a little bit of weight behind this series, not as much as the others, but there's still weight behind this, and we will still play out this TVZ. Will still play out, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, I want to believe here that Wayne can redeem himself and redeem his team. He's still up against one of the best Terrans in the world, though. Cure is an insane heavy hitter here against Wayne. Game 1 on Site Delta. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have Cure for Team Liquid. And in the top left, we have Wayne for Starlight Twinkle. Here we go. Catching with the chat. Cure playing with ping. They all play with ping, as it typically is the case with of course online events like this. Cure versus Wayne will most likely be played on West Central, as in because it's the best of 2. Game 1 would be West, Game 2 would be Central. Like they kind of alternate. There's kind of a rule. There's like rules for that in WTL from game to game, just to play this out as fairly as possible. I believe there's specific server rules depending on where in Europe you are as well. So Eastern Europe and Western Europe and Central Europe, they get different priorities when it comes to servers and stuff like that. So they break it down even further via region. Also a shout out to NeatPete8. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you for resubscribing for another month, 6 months in total. Thank you so much. Hope you've had a great time. Hope you enjoyed the content, the casting. Welcome. Welcome back. Quack, puppy, quack. A win can also add to the team's earnings. There you go. Also add to the total prize money there. Going back to bed after this 2 p.m. start. True, true. From here, though, we're going to be settling into our game. We just see Cure going for a Rax Expand standard opener out of our Terran player. And likewise, Wayne going for a Hatch Gas Pool. We did have a very explosive TVP between Krystianer and Clem. And I'll be honest, like, we didn't really get to sink our teeth into it. Like, it was a very short series, very aggressive game there. Very aggressive series. I mean, game 1, Krystianer went for 4-gate bling. Game 2, Clem committed on 2 bases, so just really short games. Here with Wayne versus Cure, we should be able to get into the mid game. We should be able to settle into like 3 base setups here, you know, at least 60 drones and 60 workers, and head on even further than that. I'm looking forward to more of a back and forth. I'm hoping for it at least. I still feel unsatisfied, Papi. Oh. I need more. Speaking of, it's going to be a 3rd command center, 3 CC before Starport. Very economic build here by Cure. So far, so good. We're headed towards a longer game. Likewise, Wayne is working towards his 3rd base as well. Now, this 3rd hatchery is a little bit delayed for Wayne. Is a bit delayed, but is going to be uncontested and can get up and running. As behind this, we're just joining up. There's a starport on the way for Cure. And if we get a tech lab on the way on the racks, we could end up going in towards Banshee production. But Cure does like to go into Viking first from time to time. So we'll keep an eye on those production buildings on the add-on swap. Yeah, the tech lab building just now starting. Based on the build here, it's not really lined up for an add-on swap, so this should be Viking first. And there it is, there's that Viking. So Cure going for faster stim instead. He should be going into Viking, should be working towards a Liberator behind this with Hellion Harass into a longer game. Now Cure is going to be more vulnerable to Roach-based play because he isn't going Banshee, but we still could actually go for the add-on swap. My eyes are on Cure. Are we going to go for delayed Banshee production? Viking comes out. Okay, there's a limit. I was like, are we going to go for a delayed add-on swap? No. Liberator's on the way. Tech Lab stays on the racks. Yeah, we're just going to be harassing with Hellion Lib. The way this works is that the Liberator's going to be threatening the main or one of the bases, and then the Hellions threaten the other base. And the goal is to drag the Queens out of position to get into a mineral line to get some damage done. Behind this, fast Roach Warren out of Wayne. We did just mention that because there's no Banshee play, Roaches are going to be a little bit more effective, and Wayne happens to be going into Roaches. I say happens, Wayne did scout the Viking. As the Viking revealed itself to the Overlord, so Wayne is fully aware that the likelihood of there being Banshees is low, so he made the choice to go Roach instead. And we could commit, as we haven't really been droning. Are we going for an all-in? I think we are. I was looking forward to a longer game, Papi. I was like, yo, we're gonna be able to settle in, and we're gonna be able to like enjoy like a more back and forth EVT. You can see there at 9 Roaches are in production. We're amassing Lings. There's 3 more Overlords on the way. Ooh, Wayne is supply. Now is not the time for a supply block. No one we're committing like this. Oh, that's a brutal supply block there for Wayne. Stuck at 82. Now breaking free, and he's flooding Lings. He's flooding Lings behind this. Liberator does arrive with the Hellions that do threaten the natural. Lings are in position, but the Hellions, they can trade well here. Ooh, as Lings, they're getting roasted at the natural base. We head towards the third. We should recognize lack of drones. There's barely any saturation at this third. That is a tell. Wayne is all in. And Cure has scouted. It's going to bleed out some of these Hellions back at home. Immediately, you can see the bunkers. Look at the production tab. We have bunkers on the way. He knows. He now knows what's going on. Bunkers are being thrown down immediately. But does he have enough time? Because here come the Ravagers. Here comes those Ravagers. Liberator got taken out across the map. Won't be at home to defend. Bunkers are not done. The bunkers, Papi. We pile down 1. And we break through into the natural base. Now we do have Stim. Marines are available. 1-1 on the way. The piles, they may just be too much as Wayne, he has broken the natural and pushing into the main. And again, there are only Marines to defend. Boys, they're being pulled. They have to be with the miles. They rain down to the SCVs. They deny combat shields. 33 SCVs have gone down, and Wayne, he's looking to redeem himself and his team here. Krystianer as well as ReWhite may have struggled, but Wayne, he's here to put a point on the board. He denies the natural, denies the upgrades, containing Cure to 1 base. Again, it was a later realization of Cure to, again, get an eye on the all-in, to realize what was going on. That's all of his Hellions. Files once again. Oof. They connect with Marines. And you can see here that Wayne cannot break the main. He can deny mining at the third, though, as there are SCVs there. Uh-oh. Okay, so a couple of things. Cure has triple orbital. Now, look, sure there's a meme, you know, mules, but unironically though, mules, Papi, mules. We can make 3 mules at a time. We're going to be moving out with our double drop. Now, what I will say is that thankfully we did deny upgrades. We denied 1-1, we denied combat shields. The upgrades of Cure are a little bit lackluster here, so I still want to give the edge to Wayne. Cure isn't dead, but Cure is crippled, and he needs a lot to bounce back. Wayne is still in control. He's still in control here. If Cure had 1-1, if Cure had combat shields, then I would, you know, put a little bit more weight behind this double drop. But you can see here it's going to be deflected. Wayne, he's ready in the main base. He's got Roach Ravager here at the third. He's droning up as we speak. He's saturating his natural, he's saturating his third. working towards his own 1-1 upgrades. I will say that it is unfortunate that Wayne did not deny the third base of his opponents. Like, there was some mining going on there that Wayne was not denying. I'm concerned that maybe Wayne didn't actually see the triangular third. It's possible. But he still has a big advantage. Like, there's a slim chance for comeback here for Cure, and we'll see if he can walk that road. We'll see if he can bring it back. For now, he's being active with his drops. He has a drop here towards the south. He has a double drop towards the north, clearing up a lot of creep. Denying creep is nice, but we do need some economic damage. Good. Trade here with the Lings. Not bad. Not losing a single Marine. Combat Shields is now done. Ooh, meanwhile, Wayne is not droning, by the way. Rain, he's not droning up. He's cutting workers at 61. He's massing up for a second all-in. For a second wave. He's maxing out with Roach Ravager. That's a hefty army, Papi. And what do we have to defend? We have 2 tanks on the high ground. I mean, pretty good positioning. The Marines, they catch reinforcements. Oh, the Miles! The base! Oh, that's a kill on the natural. Oh my god. That's a kill in the orbital. And Wayne, he has to have seen the... yeah. Head for the third base now. This base is going down next. Wayne has no high ground vision. He can't really threaten those tanks. I'm loving the pickup micro there from Cure, saving the SCVs. And this is the win condition for Wayne. Just deny the third. And even deny the natural. Oh, as we almost bile it down. Wayne has to be careful. Takes out a medevac, but he doesn't have to push up the ramp. Okay, calm down, Poppy. Calm down. And there it is. GG gets called. There is no way out of this. And Wayne takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Let's go. GG. Well played. Wayne is going to be fighting back here for his team for Starlight Twinkle. Cure was the heavy favorites, but Wayne is one of the best Zerg players in Europe. And clearly showing us that he can bring it to Cure. Wasn't all in, and it was on Cure to scout. We mentioned before that because Cure didn't open up at Banshee, he was vulnerable to roaches. We just didn't realize how vulnerable he was. And we're getting into game 2. In the top left, we have Cure for Team Liquid. In the bottom right, we have Wayne for Starlight Twinkle. Now, it isn't like, oh, you don't open up Banshee, so you just insta-lose versus roaches. Not quite like that, but it was also on Cure to scout earlier on. If you remember, he was very tentative with his Hellions and very tentative with his units on the map. Just waiting until he was able to build up his Hellion count a little bit longer before applying pressure. He eventually saw the low drone count, but again, that was as the all-in was happening. That was as the push was already moving out across the map. It was a late scout. Oh. And Wayne, he's going pool first. Interesting. You have my attention. It's going to be pool first out of Wayne. So a very cheeky opener. This is not an all-in, but this is a way to get a lead early on. The goal here is to make Lings. It's to make a handful of Lings, to skirt around the edge of the map, to avoid the Reaper, and to delay the CC. As it is a pool hatch gas opener. We'll see how many Lings we make. You can make anywhere between 2 and 6 Lings, depending on how committed Wayne wants to be. I believe we're holding on to Larva. Yeah, we're holding on to Larva. Should be 6 Lings. There it is. We have, okay, 4 Lings on the way. Now, again, the goal of these 4 Lings is to avoid the Reaper, to get on top of that CC, and to get an economic lead early on. Now, Cure is moving in with an SCV Scout. Very important. It is not uncommon for Terran players to skip their SCV Scout, especially the Korean Terrans. But the SCV is coming in, and we will confirm the Lings. We confirm how late the hatchery is. So Cure has an option. He has a choice to make. Do we send the Reaper across the map, or do we keep it at home? Well, as we do see Wayne trying to set up a trap, and oh, does he get the SCV? He does not! And Wayne has to back off. So this opener has been lackluster for Wayne. Remember, he got scattered by the SCV. He pulls back with his Lings. The Reaper arrives. And these Lings, they don't delay the command center. So far so good for Cure. He's in a slightly better position. Reaper dips in. This was a very important scout as well. A pull first can sometimes lead into an early Roach Warren. So Cure, he goes in, confirms no extra gases. He confirms no extra Roach Warren. Oh, he delays the third base. Up. Oh my god. Does delay the third as well, but the drone does survive, and we do get our third base up. Now we're calming things down. We're headed towards a longer game. Behind this, that's a 1-1-1. Uh-oh. Cure, he's angry. Cure is upset. 1-1-1 builds are very uncommon nowadays. Even if you open up Banshee, usually it's after a third CC. So for Cure to stay on 2 bases, to go straight for that starport, this could be a couple of different things. We could be rushing towards Banshees, of course, and additional Hellions. This could lead towards a Hellbat push. That's the first thing to come to mind for me. Or this could just be a delayed command center and a safer build. We'll see if an armory gets thrown down for Hellbats. Reaper dips in. Oh, Reaper goes down. Not too worth it there for Cure. Doesn't quite get the drone. Meanwhile, we have the Viking first. Viking first into add-on swap. Okay, this is actually really cool. Cure, he's kind of playing with his build a little bit. If you remember, in game 1, Cure opened up Viking, and that was the tell. That was the tell for Wayne to throw down a Roach Warren, is seeing the Viking. So once again, we have a Viking opener, and that will hide the follow-up add-on swap. Ooh, as the link does confirm. Very nice scout there. So the link didn't see the starport on the tech lab, but it saw the tech lab on its own. And that's enough. That's enough of a tell to know that the Rax had built the starport, the Rax had lifted clearly for the starport to take its place. So Wayne should be able to piece together that it's Viking first into Banshee. I say that, there's that Roach Warren, he is getting baited into it. Uh-oh. I'm hoping he can piece together that it's going to be Banshees. Spores are on the way. Oh, they're on the way to deal with Liberators instead. So I'm liking Cure's position here. It looks like he has sold the story. Viking comes in, forces back the Overlord. Okay. Double Evo Chambers are on the way. So this tells us that Wayne is not... Oh, Overlord goes down. But this tells us that Wayne isn't going for an all-in this time. There is a fast Roach Warren, yes, but he's playing Roaches into the mid-game. As you can see that Wayne is droning. Wayne, he's got Evos on the way for upgrades. Lair as well for Roach speed. Oh my god! And we're playing mech! That I was not expecting. We have 2 more factories on the way. This is not the first time we've seen Cure play mech. Clem's been playing mech. Maru's been playing mech. Cure as well. Mech is on the way. Oh boy. Cure is upset. He doesn't just want to win, he wants to make the Zerg suffer. Oh no. So we are meching it up here from the side of Cure. Ooh, and we're going for a Hyperfly Rotor variation. Very interesting. This is a more modern variation of mech where you double down and you commit a little bit harder to more Banshees. So you have a marauding group of Banshees alongside your battle mech. Double armories on the way for double upgrades. But Hyperflight Rotors is Banshee speed, for those that are curious. Ooh, the Banshee barely escaping on 5 HP. Will be able to get away. See Wayne breaking his way out, collapsing on those Hellions. At the same time, Banshees, they come in from behind. And can we force the cancel? We can! Up! Oh my god. Was a close cancel there for Wayne. Thankfully not killed. And you can see behind this, we're committing here into more Banshees, more Hellions. We're getting to tank production. Interesting that we have not gone into Cyclones. I mean, in the new patch, Cyclones have been nerfed, but whenever we see mechs, Cyclones are still used for map control. You can see here, though, that Curie is going Hellion Banshee to harass, not Cyclone. Instead, using those resources and that gas for tank production. So it's going to be a more tank-heavy style here, or tank-heavy composition from Cure. We're building up a lot of tanks. Meanwhile, Wayne has been stuck at home, stuck trying to defend, take another base. Hydrogen is done. Interesting, we're taking up not just into a hive, but into lurkers. I'm not sure how I feel about this. We have seen a lot of players experiment with Hydra, Lurker, Viper versus Mech with very mixed results. Again, it can be quite difficult to actually make it worthwhile, so I'm curious how this plays out for Wayne. I'm quite curious. I mean, the problem is that Hydras are necessary because of the Banshee, right? It makes sense. Whenever we see this kind of Banshee style, like, you do need those Hydras, so may as well take into Lurkers from there. Meanwhile, Hellions, they do go for a run by. Barely any drones to take advantage of. Big volleys here on the Lings. Oh my god, that's a lot of Lings going down. The Hellions survive? Wait, what? As the Banshees, they hit the natural base. Queen's going down one after the other. Where's the detection? And it's not here in time. Overseer's being morphed in. And we can just abuse this position. Oh my god. Queens are going down. Hydra's going down. Cure, he realized that there's no detection. Stuck around, got extra damage done. 9 workers go down. And even with detection, we don't have Overlord speed. The power of the Banshee. And what's scary here is the pendulum has swung heavily in favor of Cure. What I mean by that is that Cure has a better economy. In a mech versus Zerg, for the meching player to be even on bases and ahead in workers is terrifying. Usually we should be seeing the opposite here, where the Zerg player needs to have map control, they need a better economy, they need to swallow up their half of the map first, because the reality is that Cure is going to be more efficient. Cure has a more efficient army here, so Wayne needs the better economy, and he doesn't have that. So things are looking dire. As we rain down at the natural once again, 5, 6 more drones go down, then the Banshees, they can just fly away. They just dip on out of there. Wayne was not in position, not ready for it. But we do have Vipers. Now these Vipers, they can do very well against mech. With their blinding clouds, with their power bombs on the Banshees. Vipers, they have a lot of utility here, in general, in a Zerg army. So we'll see how they're used. But now Cure backing off. Now what's important here is that Cure has a low Banshee count. Like, it's not like he's going mass Banshee. He made a handful of Banshees he was harassing, and he's done with them. Like, they could all die, and they've already paid for themselves. Cure is hyper-fixated on a mass tank composition instead. And can Wayne actually break that? I'm going to be concerned if he does waste a little bit too much energy on those power bombs. You can see the Vipers poking in. Thors are on the way. They'll deal with said Vipers. No anti-air, by the way. We go for the yoinks. We do get 2 tanks. Not bad. 2 tanks go down. But at the same time, no, we get in! We don't even have blue flame, but the Hellions, they bust into the natural. 7 more drones go down. Ay, ay, ay. Losses we cannot afford. Cure, he's on 91 SCVs. TY, is that you? 91 SCVs. We do have a Nidus in towards the natural. Banshees, they hit the fresh mining base. More drones going to be falling. And again, Cure, he's happy to lose all these Hellions and Banshees because he's replacing them with Thors. Like, Thors are here. Now we do get some Lurkers into the natural. Finally, some counter damage. 10 SCVs go down. But we have to get the hell out of here. And we do manage to escape. We get 11 workers. Dive into that Nidus. Meanwhile, it looks like we had some power bombs on those Banshees. Finally, the Banshees are cleaned up. But we mentioned before, the Banshees, they don't matter anymore. And Cure is almost at his ideal. So the ideal late game composition is Mech Ghost. It's Tank, Ghost, Thor, Liberator. That's like the ideal, the death ball of an army that you're building up towards. And you can see that Ghosts are on the way, Thors are on the way. What I will say is that Cure's upgrades are a little bit lackluster. We're still just now finishing 2-2. And the Ghosts don't have any bio upgrades, of course, so Cure is still refining his forces. Still getting there. Meanwhile, Hydras, they have arrived. They're going to be denying the right-hand base. Oh, we cannot push into this, though. That's a lot of tanks. We do yoink a Thor. We yoink a handful of units. And oh, the Vipers, no! We bleed out 2 Vipers. 2 Vipers for 2 Thors. That wasn't a bad trade, but considering Wayne's economy and how Wayne's been getting here, I'm concerned. As he's down to 1 Viper. The Knight is here in towards the 3rd. You have Lurkers morphing in on the right-hand side as well. You can see Wayne pushing through the center. And that Nidus Swarm, it looks like it is barely going to go down in time. Whew. Yeah, we have a tank in position here at the natural. The Nidus Swarms, they're not finishing. They're not getting up and running. You can see the Vikings hunting down the Overseer. We do apply some pressure at the fresh mining base, but it's only 2 Hydras and a Lurker. Should be cleaned up. Changelings get in. Lurker goes down. Now, what I will say when it comes to what Wayne... I know I was talking a lot about the ideal Terran army. The ideal Zerg army is to work towards Broodlords in a longer game. For now, Lurkers, they're getting some work done. Nice, it does finish. We dive on top of the tanks. The tanks are left exposed, and with these blinding clouds, we can break through. Was it 2, 3 tanks go down, but oh, we overextend. We ran out of blinding clouds. We only had 1 Viper. I think that was like 1, maybe 2 blinding clouds. It's not quite enough. Some decent Lurker shots, though. We catch some of those ghosts. Lurkers behind the army, they're able to trade a little bit better as well. Getting 11 SCVs. This Knight is not quite going to finish. Yeah, it should be shut down. That's Curious settling into his bases here. But yeah, Wayne, he's sticking with a more mobile Ling Hydra army, and he's collapsing on top of these swords once again. Without Hellbats, these Lings, they can go to town. We shut down a Thor, we get a tank. We clean up all these Hellions as well. And this tech switch here from Wayne, trading quite nicely. So even these Lurkers get a couple of hits in towards the end. Wayne, he can remax. Now, the downside of what Wayne's army is in a head-on fight, we have to favor Cure. Like Wayne, with Ling Hydra, he can hit left and right, he can pull Cure apart, he can find these exposed positions and break some defensive lines. But if Cure ever unsieges his entire army, if he ever pushes, Wayne is going to have a very hard time holding. So the goal here for Wayne is to keep Cure busy at home, is to make sure he doesn't push. Gets another tank for Lings, trading minerals for gas. Good pick off there by Wayne. We do have an Ultra Cavern on the way. Interesting tech choice here by Wayne. I mean, Ultras can help when it comes to dives, but they are quite expensive. As the ghost count is being rebuilt. And Wayne has taken the entire map, by the way. Early on, Cure, he was having a much easier time expanding and having control. Remember earlier, like 5-6 minutes ago, it was when Cure was harassing with Hellions, but he was harassing with Banshees, but the harassment has ended and Wayne has recovered. Base finally going to be going down, but again, Wayne hasn't really lost many drones in quite some time. So Wayne is kind of regained control of the map. Has the bank so he can afford to remax at least once. Snipes are coming in. Oh! Nice snipes there from Cure. Okay, we'll force a cancel. And Cure is going to be expanding. Or he's looking to expand. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, I see a fusion core on the way. Now, we can go one of 2 ways. This could be for Liberator range for Libs, or this could be for BC. As we are not ready for a corruptor transition. The Ghosts! Oh my god! The Ghosts, they took those spine shots to the face. Or like 2 or 3 Ghosts going down. Here has to be careful when it comes to pushing into Lurkers. Fusion core is done. Again, I'm curious if we're going Lib or BC. Like, I can see an argument for both. I would prefer Liberators against a more Lurker-based composition, but we'll see. As things, they catch the tanks on siege. 1 tank, 2 tanks go down. We get a 3rd, a 4th as well. We get 4 tanks, we bleed out a lot of Ling Hydra. Oof. Oh, it's just a sea of Zerg melting before the Terran army. But at least we kept the Lurkers alive. Now we're rebuilding the Vipers. It's been a while, but there we go. We have 3 Vipers in production. As Kira is taking another base. Now what's important is that Wayne was barely mining from that base as well. So it's a fresh mining base for Cure. Cure also has the center left base, which has been left unattended and no one has taken yet. Wayne does have the base on the far left, but Wayne has not been mining. He has not saturated that base, so it is still up in the air. Lurkers, they go for a dive, but yeah, we cannot push into a defensive line of tanks. I mentioned before that this army from Wayne is heavily reliant on Cure being out of position. And if Cure is ever set up with a tank line like that, we cannot break it. Not easily. Not without a swarm of lings. And there we go, 52 lings on the way. I would like to see Wayne push in towards the 3rd with this army. Those tanks are looking a bit exposed, and we're going for it. But there is some good SimCity here that, that's not going to happen. I meant through the center. Another base being taken. Kier pushes in on the right-hand side, heading into the mineral line. Drones are going down. Oof, that's 11 workers for a handful of Hellbats. But yeah, Wayne pushing up this ramp towards that 3rd. Does feel like there's a clear path, and he's going for it. Curie's a little bit late to respond. Tanks are going down. We get 3. We got a 4th tank as well. We have the high ground. Wayne backs off. It did cost him a lot of Hydras. Base falling alongside it, but Wayne can remax. It's all good. Oh my god, and we're remaxing 15 Lurkers. Papi. If Cure was going into Lib or into BC right now, then Wayne would be in a bit of trouble, but that's a lot of Lunkers. I believe that's every Hydra turning into a Lurker. Cure does have that fusion core, but he hasn't done anything with it. He hasn't researched Yamato, he hasn't researched Liberator range. Curie's sticking with Tank Ghost. Thankfully for Wayne, Curie's sticking with Tank Ghost, and here come the Lurkers! Yeah, we come in for a flank, we go for a surround. We get a decent catch on some of those Thors. Oh, but the snipes are brutal. Yeah, the Ghosts, they hold onto the high ground. I say that, we did overextend for a moment. But that cost us, oh my god, so many Lurkers. That was like 9 Lurkers going down. That was an expensive trade for Wayne. And he's still committed to Ling Hydra. And here come the Libs. It looks like finally, now that Kira has identified how Lurker heavy this is, now we get some Libs on the way. Now we have advanced ballistics on the way as well. Liberator range. But that production has only just begun. It's going to take a while to get there. It'll take a while. Wayne coming in. Getting ready with his Vipers. Going for the yoinks. Oh, we get 2. We get 3. 3 goes for 3 yoinks. Nicely done here by Wayne. Meanwhile, going to be rotating around once again, trying to catch out some free tanks. And it looks like he will get them. Not just tanks, but even a Ghost. 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks going to be going down. And the Liberators as well. Yeah, these are the moves that Wayne has to go for, just catching the reinforcements out of position. He has the high ground as well. Lurker shots going off, the Ghosts are exposed. 2 more Ghosts go down. Yeah, time and time again, Wayne is doing such a great job at abusing this position specifically. From here, Wayne pulling back. We have Infestors on the way. Let's go. More Lunkers as well. Mate, who needs Broodlords? I mean, I'm still concerned for Wayne, but here we go. Does dive in, collapsing on these tanks. Decent blinding cloud, but ooh, the Vipers do full. That was a bit more expensive for Wayne. He bled out his Vipers, pushing into a tank line. Again, the Liberator count's still quite low. Now we have three Liberators pushing in. Decent fungal, but no follow-up. We do manage to catch 2 of those libs. Oh, barely getting a 3rd. Very nice fungal with the ghost, though. And with the chain fungal, oh my god! We get 6 ghosts! Was that every ghost? Cure. Bunching up his ghost like that, losing everything, and that was not cheap. Like, Cure, likewise, he doesn't have the most amazing bank to work with here. He has a lot of gas, but not a lot of minerals. We will catch the Infestors, though. Oh, will he? Up, up! The Hellions, they get 1! They get 1 Infestor. Ultras on the way. You can see how expensive these Ultras are. We make 4 Ultras and we burn through most of the gas bank from Wayne. Down to 1k. I mean, he still has 1k gas, to be fair, but... calm things down. They're sniping more lurkers. Wayne pushing in. I'm liking the tanks on the left-hand side. Big volley's going to be going off the lurkers. Yeah, this is the ramp that was being abused earlier, and finally Cure, he's establishing himself there. So Wayne can't push in the same way he was before. Has to calm down. He's receding. Ooh. We do annihilate a mineral line. 19 drones get caught. The barbecue, papi. Hellions being cleaned up at the same time. Here comes the freedom. This is what we were waiting for. This is the final form of Cure. We're making 4 Liberators at a time. And sure, we're making 5 Ultras, but Ultras, they didn't shoot up. Uh-oh. The freedom is here. Keep papi. As I say that, some of these tanks, we have to calm down. There are infestors just underneath them, waiting for a fungal. We do catch a tank. And that infestor lying in wait does spot the rotation. Cure moving out with his entire army. He's leaving his bases a little bit vulnerable, but okay, we have Liberators to defend. And do we go for a base trade? We have Cure pushing on the left, Wayne moves out on the right, and both players will be bleeding out their bases. We should lose our planetary and our hatchery. I say should, but the libs are holding. Oh god, these Ultras, they're taking a lot of hits. But the Hydras, they stutter step forward, they focus on the Liberators. At the same time, the base on the left-hand side are going to be folding as well. So we trade a planetary for 2 hatcheries. Wayne racing back. But this is going to turn out better for Cure. What's important here, even though Cure lost the base, he's killing 2 and he's expanding behind it. Cure is finally taking that center left base on the low ground. So he has a fresh mining CC. Meanwhile, Wayne is down to 30 drones and is double expanding, desperately so. Wayne is long distance mining from that center base, but he's out of gas. He's out of resources, period. Like, Cure has a fresh base. Uh-oh, and he's taking another. Looking a long distance mine as well. Tanks are late to siege. But here comes the Freedom Lings. They get annihilated. The Ultras are coming in. That's a lot of Ultras. Is it going to be enough? As we break through the ground army, tanks are going down. But what about the Liberators? What about the Freedom? As the Liberation zones are left alone, I mean, the Ultras do bypass the libs. They get into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. One of the Ultras burrows. But this was an expensive loss there for Wayne. Yeah, that's everything he had. He doesn't have a bank. He cannot remax. He aped into the army, lost everything. We have 1 Ultra left. And Wayne, he's out of money. Straight up, he's just out of minerals, out of gas. He's got a handful of units here and there, but here comes the libs. It's basically pure lib. And a handful of ghosts. It's enough. It's all we need. The Ultra popping back up. Let's go. Forcing back the army. Do we burrow again? Oh, he didn't notice! The burrow! But GG gets caught. Yeah, the writing is on the wall. And Cure will tie things up 1-1, taking down Wayne on Oceanborn. GG. GG, well played. A very back and forth game. There was a roller coaster ride of emotions. We had the mech versus Wayne, and if you remember, initially Cure was in the driver's seat. Initially, Cure was doing so well for himself, killing so many workers, drones, annihilating them with Hellion run-bys, with Banshees as well. And he was able to stabilize and settle into his 5-base setup quite easily. But getting the 6th planetary, the 6th base, was a bit of a harder journey there for Cure. Wayne was able to engulf the rest of the map, and it was more of a back and forth. You can definitely argue, though, that Wayne was a little bit stubborn. Wayne was a little bit stubborn when it came to his army composition, and I was not fond of going into Ultras from there. Going Ling Hydra Lurker Viper into Ultra, especially when your opponent was doubling down on Liberators. We saw that the Ultras were a little bit lackluster. They did kill the ground army, true. They did kill all the tanks, but there was no answer for the Liberators. And over time, like, Cure was also just out-trading Wayne, was just being more efficient. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. With that, Team Liquid will take the series 5-1. My condolences to Starlight Twinkle. And now we're getting ready for our next series. We're getting ready for Team Vitality versus Shopify Rebellion. Oh my god, it's going to be an amazing matchup. I'm looking forward to it. Before I get ahead of myself, a big shout out in the chat to a donation. We don't really get too many donations here on the CranKy Ducklings, but there was an anonymous donation saying thank you for the casting. Thank you, Papi, thank you. Thank you so much for the donation. We do appreciate it. Gracias, gracias. Always. And yeah, hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have our next best of 7. See you soon.